Hey everyone, and welcome to Inessence Movement. I am your host, Paresh Nama. I started the show so I could bring to you the people that motivate and inspire me because I know success leaves clues. And with those clues, we can ask ourselves better questions and reflect so we can find our hidden potential and discover who we are in essence. Today on the show, I have a mental performance coach. He is the founder and director of 50 Coaching. Growing up as, in his own words, the chubby kid and being the white kid in a Māori school, and then switching over to being the Māori kid in a predominantly white mainstream school, put together was a recipe for bullying, unfortunately. However, fortunately, with his time in the Navy and the study of NLP and hypnosis, he developed his new mindset and made a major shift mentally and physically. And now he shares his learnings with his clients. He posts these brilliant 20 to 40 second thought-provoking videos daily on Instagram, which really gives you an insight into his thought process. He's resilient, he's mentally tough, he's all about spreading positive vibes. He's the author from Why Me to Try Me. He is Curtis Weeks. Curtis, thank you so much for being here and joining me.
What's good, brother?
How you feeling?
Thank you for having me. Wow, man, wow, what an introduction. Yeah, amazing now, even better.
Nice. Thank you again for being here. How's the weather there? And you're in Wellington, right?
Yeah. Based in the Hutt Valley. It was mean. Yeah, the weather was mean today.
Sweet. Cool. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man.
What's firstly your book? I've started reading it. I'm a bit of a slow reader. I'm waiting for the audio book.
Yeah, that's good. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the audio book. Just
yeah. So I mean, like I've started it, and it's a really good read. Like I said, it really gives you an insight into who you are and what you've been through, and there's a lot to learn from it. What I found really interesting is you started your book with a quote from Napoleon Hill. Yep. And it says, "Strength and growth comes only through continuous effort and struggle." So I guess the first question for you is, how do you define effort and how do you define struggle?
Well, yeah, like effort is what are you willing to put out to get what you want? Like you have to put that effort out to get what you want. And the struggle is just something that comes with a bit of adversity, like struggle, everything. Struggle is different to everyone, like for everyone, struggle is different. Like for some people, a struggle could just be getting up to go to their 9 to 5, there is a struggle. And then for someone else, a struggle could be not eating for like 3-4 days.
True.
So it's all about perspective when it comes to like struggle. But through my own experiences, like that there is what helps you grow into a better person, is to actually put that effort in, because that's on you, that's your action, to get through that struggle and to actually push through the hardship or just a hurdle or obstacle that you're facing. And that's what I see the effort, is like that little bit of action to get you through whatever struggle you're going through.
Yeah. What's your relationship with effort, and where did you learn that?
Effort. Well, I think I learned through my dad. My old man was a hard worker, and I never really so when he would be doing things around the house and whatnot, I just thought it was normal. Like I didn't know that people paid builders, like to do that stuff. Like I just thought like, hey, like this is what you do. Like not only was it through my old man, it was like through uncles and stuff as well, like on like farms and stuff. I just assumed that you do the work on your own stuff. I didn't actually know that you paid people to do that. So yeah, growing up watching my old man like work on our family home, I used to try help him, like I was only young and I'll try like pick up these big logs. I'm like, check me out there. And he's like, yeah, awesome. Like, move it there. Like, yeah, you're not helping here. Yeah, go if you want to help you dig a hole over there. Like it was so I think that's how I discovered it, was through my old man and just work ethic. I learned from him, but also other figureheads in my life,
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think we sort of tend to forget what part or what role our parents and our upbringing really bring. And we sort of tend to forget that as we sort of get on in life. So it's cool that you've
Yeah,
recognized that. Yeah. Uh,
100%.
yeah. Um, Tell me about the try me and the why me mindset. Where did that concept come from?
Life, like straight up, like I just going through life, I found myself, and as you're reading it, and as you will read, like I found myself getting put into these awkward situations where I would either just choose to be a victim, and that's like that why me
Yeah.
mentality, and it was just I found myself doing it heaps, like most of a good chunk of my life. I was just like, fuck, man, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? Why couldn't this happen to them? Like, why does this always happen to me?
Mm,
And yeah, like one day it was sort of like, try me, like I've had it, I'm sick of this. Like, I'm sick of it, like just try me, go on then,
yeah.
try me, and then uh, I think I was maybe mid-20s when I discovered it.
Yeah.
Like when I actually discovered what it was, I was like, oh damn, like that's actually a thing, like my whole life I chose to be the
Mm,
victim. Like it's a choice. That's essentially what it is, like you can either choose to be the victim or choose to be the victor, like it's up to you really.
yeah.
If you don't try, then you'll never know. And if you give up, then you'll kick yourself in the back, just for not even trying later. You're like, oh man, I could have. And then again, you go back into that victim mindset. You're like, oh, why didn't I try?
Mm,
It's just like, wow, you can try today.
yeah. Was that a change that happened gradually, or was it something that shifted in an instant, or
Yeah,
because of the?
it was a bit of both. Like when I joined the Navy, that was the biggest shift of that mindset. So like I made a promise to myself, just because I don't know, I just felt like I was getting bullied a good, like, I don't know, like 15 years or something, like for years, like I was
Yeah.
just getting bullied. And then yeah, when I dabbled with like gangs and shit before joining the Navy, and just trying to find a bit of purpose. And I don't know, like it was like once I joined the Navy, I will never let this happen again. This feeling, because there was every time I was bullied, I had this real yuck feeling that would just overcome my entire body, and I would freeze, or like I'd just it was a disgusting feeling where I just felt helpless and vulnerable, and yeah, I just felt alone where no one could help me. And then so I was just like, from this day on, when I joined the Navy, no one knows who I am. No one knows what I've done, who I am, like what I'm about. So I'm gonna create a new character. I'm gonna like Joe Rogan said in one of his podcasts. Like create your own character.
Yeah.
Like that's essentially what I did, bro.
Mm.
But then I sort of went too aggressive. Yeah, and I was an idiot. Like I turned into an idiot, bro. Like yeah,
Heard
it was just
fighting on your first day, I hear.
yeah, bro. Yeah. Actual. Yeah, that wasn't so much like me being an idiot. That was just me making that promise to myself,
Right.
and then I guess the universe was testing me, like, oh, let's see then.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so I towed the line, and yeah, me and that
Yeah.
fella became good mates.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, like I've heard you describe fear as a yuck feeling.
Mm.
Is that something that you had to teach yourself to treat it as a yuck feeling, or was it something that was just so inherent in you that you wanted to get away from it?
Yeah, it was just a feeling I didn't like. Really,
Yeah.
I grew up, and I've always been like a real happy kid, and
Yeah.
that's an emotion that I like. The happiness, just excitement,
Mm,
laughter, love. Like those are the emotions that I enjoy. And whenever I felt that fear, it was just something I didn't like.
yeah.
And yeah, I discovered that from a young age. Like I just didn't like it, and I guess that's why I gave it that yuck title. It's like
Yeah.
it's yuck. I don't want to be here. I don't want anything to do with how I'm feeling right now. And so how do I get out of it?
Mm. Um, like I guess you had the fortunate opportunity to join the Navy, and I guess
Mm.
that was your clean slate, right? You decided that that was it. This is from here. I'm going to be a different person. How do people do that in real life or in their day-to-day life when they don't have an opportunity to sort of reinvent themselves like that?
Yeah, well, like it wasn't really. There was at that moment in my time in my life, there were two options. It
Yeah,
was I could go to the military or I could go to prison. Like
yeah.
those were literally my options because some
Wow.
shit went down before I joined the Navy, and I was like, if I keep hanging around with these fellas, like that's me. I'm getting incarcerated,
Mm,
and when I joined, like a good chunk of them got locked up. So life's all about decisions, like it doesn't matter where you are if you want to join the military. The military is just like school. It's not for everyone.
mhm.
Like you get those people that excel at school, and it's just the same as the military. You get those that excel. You get the shitheads, you get the jocks. You get the nerds. Like it's like high school, but like on another level. So in life, to get a clean slate, it's just about making the decision. Like if you
Yeah.
don't like where you are, then change it. Like do something you want to do and just make that decision and run with it.
Mm,
Like it's not life's hard. Like
yeah.
that's it. Like full stop, exclamation mark. Life is hard. So learn how to like roll with the punches and
True.
like embrace it. Embrace the hard work because hard work does pay off. And
Yeah.
like put in that effort, and that's what it is. Like just make the decision, and whatever you want to be, whatever you decide you want to become, do something small every day. Just towards that, because if you try to do too much too fast, you'll burn out, and then you'll just start going around in circles,
Mm,
and it's no good for anyone. Like no good for your own well-being, and it's no good for your loved ones around you, because they start to take the brunt of that. Yeah, because you're trying to blame someone.
yeah.
And most people in those positions don't like to blame themselves. So you know whoever's in a circle usually catches the brunt of that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. You talk about making those small changes every day and doing the little steps towards that big goal. Because I've had like uh, I've had a few people on the show now that have talked about this exact same thing. I've had Pat McPhee talking about processes and breaking things down to the smallest possible,
Yeah, man.
and then working on that. And then Albie, who said the same thing. He's like, so many times people think that the issue was this big, but in reality, it could be a small, minute change that needs to happen. Um, so yeah, so it's true, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of successful people that are saying that. So
yeah.
there's obviously some sort of truth in that. Can you teach people how to make a decision or the right decision?
It's it's on them. Like you can show them,
Mm,
but but you can't teach them to make a decision. Like because people still, I know people in their like 40s and 50s that still struggle to make a decision.
yeah,
So that's just something they have to learn for themselves. Like yeah, you
yeah,
can you can teach. Well, yeah, I guess you can instruct them
hmm,
how to make a decision, but at the end of the day, it's on them. So
yeah,
you can, yeah, guide them along, like the pros and cons of
yep,
things. Like look at a decision. You've got this option or this. What are the pros and cons here? What are the pros and cons here?
yeah,
Choose. Like choose which one has more pros than cons.
yeah.
Like that's one way you could look at it, but there's heaps of different ways people can break that one down.
Mm, yeah, and that's sort of like the next question really is like, how do you teach people to make the right decision, right? Because you, like you said, you
Mm,
sort of grew up with people that were either getting incarcerated or hitting, you had that choice where it was either get
mm,
incarcerated or go to the military.
yeah,
And unfortunately, you said that people that you knew went to prison.
yeah.
What was it in you that made that right decision, do you think?
It was something like I said earlier. I've always been a happy kid.
Yeah,
Like I think that was it. Like when I was doing the wrong thing, I knew it was wrong. I could feel it
right, right.
inside. you know, like I'll be like, oh fuck, we shouldn't be doing this, boys. You know,
Yeah.
like I'd have that, but they wouldn't care. And I was just like, oh, you know, like, so I think that was that was just something inside of me, you know, like this. I knew right from wrong, but I think it was my conscious mainly that just ate me up. Like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. I was like,
Mm.
yeah, I shouldn't, but it's fun. and then and then yeah, so making the decision is like an internal feeling.
Yeah.
Or it goes off, you know, like, is this right? Am I doing the right thing here? And you may feel that and believe that it is. Then once you make that decision, it might end up being like very bad, you know. You're like, damn shit. And that's life, you know, like like you make some decisions that, you know, you have to fix as you go
Yeah.
because they weren't the right one.
Yeah.
But at least you sort of went with that intuition, you know, like followed your gut.
For sure.
Yeah.
How important is intuition?
Man, for me, massive. Like it's huge when I find myself at I guess a crossroad or where I have to make a decision. I follow my gut. It's just because someone told me years ago, if you ever end up in a sticky situation, follow your gut. And I
Mm.
never got it because I got it told. I got that told to me when I was like real young. So I
Yep.
was like, what does that even mean? Like, follow my gut. And I was like, looking down at my gut, I was like, what? Like, like does it have feet? Oh, it was like, what do you mean? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it wasn't until I was older, I was like, oh shit, like this feeling here, I get you now. And then since then, that's all I do. It's just go off that.
Yep.
It's like, okay. And then, yeah, like just even the last year, I've just chopped and changed so many times, you know, like just
Nice.
because of that. It's like I'll try something. Okay, that's not going where I thought it would. We'll just change, just like sailing, you know, tacking and jiving.
Yep. Nice. How was the lockdown for you? I mean, obviously productive because you got a book out of it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
But just busy, just business as usual for yourself.
yeah. It was pretty much building my business. So I
Yes.
built it in lockdown, and then I left the Navy in lockdown as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so um, my thought process behind that was if I could start a business at the height of a pandemic and do all right, then
You're
I'd
gonna get
be,
through anything.
yeah, bro, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And yeah, so I'm still here, and it's a grind, you know.
Yep.
Like I was talking to someone on Instagram today about my line of work and how it's different because, you know, you've got so many online entrepreneurs nowadays. You know, everyone has a product to sell. My product's different, you know, like my product, when you break it down, it's just advice. Like,
Mm.
so how do you sell advice when you can just get it from a book or get it from YouTube or something? So yeah, it's just about embracing that grind and getting that credibility. Like I have full faith in my vision and where I'm heading, and I feel like I've got the right intentions for it. So yeah, I'm just embracing that grind.
Yeah.
Every day's Monday.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I don't think anyone could doubt your intentions. It's very clear from everything that you put out anyway,
Mm,
what you're about, and definitely from the book as well. It rings very loud. So yeah, you're doing
cheers.
awesome work.
Thank you, bro.
Um, like I know you talked about it, but I'm trying to really break down on that moment, and if it was a moment or if it was over time. Like you go from being bullied for 15 years, you said, to being now a mental performance coach.
Yeah,
Where does that shift come from, and
yeah.
how does that happen?
So there are like I guess big shifts at different moments of my life.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how it happened. So the first shift, I guess, was joining the Navy. And then, like I was saying, I sort of went too far and I was
Hmm.
being a dickhead. Um, then I got into Muay Thai. So that was another shift.
Yep.
So I got into that because I was fighting, you know, like I joined the Navy at 17. So instead of doing 7th form, I joined the Navy. And I was the youngest male in my intake. And I just had this massive chip on my shoulder. So I wanted to just fight. I just wanted to fight everyone and anyone, and I did at that stage in my life, and until my best mate pulled me aside, and he's just like, hey, you're no fun. Like, we don't like hanging out with you when we're drinking. You're just causing trouble. And I thought they liked it, but they didn't. Yeah. So I was just like, that really hit hard. So I was just like, well, if I enjoy fighting so much, even in league and rugby, I was fighting on the field.
Right.
It was just like, so after my mate told me that, I was just like, okay, if I really enjoy fighting so much, I should probably give it a nudge as a sport.
Yep.
Like, you can do that, like you can do that as a sport.
Yeah.
So that was the next shift, I guess, was getting into fighting. Muay Thai is where I started, and then I got into the gym, just kept bugging the coach, and I was like, hey, can I fight? Like, when can I fight? Let me fight. And just kept hassling him. Then he let me fight. I finally got a fight, and that was my first fight. Was just a massive mental shift for me, because like, I felt like, my entire life I'd been bullied, and just felt helpless, and here it is, like, this is, for me, it was like, there are two individuals that have trained hard to fight. Like, this isn't just a schoolyard fight, like, just random. Like, this has been thought out, and both people have trained hard to fight. And then so that there made me feel better about, like, the kid that got bullied. And I was just, and I guess my reason for fighting was to show just myself, like, I could have been, I grew up with that victim mentality, but you don't have to stay in that position. Like, you can learn to fight, and if fighting's not your thing, like, you can learn to fight other battles, like, you can learn to stand on your own 2 feet. And that's sort of what fighting taught me, is like, you can learn to stand up for yourself, with the right coaching and the right tools, like. So that was a shift. And then there was just Navy in general.
Yep.
I spent 9 years as a chef. Fighting helped me with my chefing career, but then I was just always in the galley, like, always in that kitchen, just cooking, doing all of that stuff. And I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. So I tried a few times to go as a diver or a physical training instructor. And that there was, when I finally, I guess, was able to go for that physical training instructor selection, that there was like a mental shift in itself again, like, so there are just these increments that happen, big jumps, like massive jumps. So I'll just be on this like slow incline, and then a big jump in my like mentality, and then like a slow incline, massive jump. But just before I went for that physical training instructor selection, I met a fella called Dave Neath, and he's, I guess, in my opinion, he's the best mental performance coach in New Zealand.
Nice.
So that's where I met him, and he helped me prepare for a MMA fight. And he didn't even use many tools. Like, knowing the tools now, like, he didn't use many of them at all. It was just genuine conversation with him and I. But he gave me the switch. Because I always had this in my military career, that there was just this mutton sort of mentality. When things got hard, I was able to just go for it. But he gave me a switch where I was just able to just easily and effortlessly access someone that isn't me, like, that is like a beast, I guess, like, they can just go, like a mahi dog or whatever they want to call it. So like, when I found that, the selection process was easy. I was selected, and it was hard that there was my last ditch effort. So I had enough of, I guess, the Navy bullshit at that stage,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I love the name for what it done for my life and everything, but there's just a lot of bullshit that comes with it, you know, just with any job, but in the military it's different, you know,
Right.
like yeah, like you can't really argue, you just follow the orders.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
then
that was my last.
you spent like 5 years at sea or something all up.
Yeah,
There's
bro. Yeah,
no
total of
real
5 years.
walking away or cool down period from that, is there?
Nah, man, you got to find your way. You know, you got
Yeah.
to find your own zen at sea. And for me, it was training. You know,
Yeah.
like fitness, or we used to have like little fight clubs.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just go sparring or do some jujitsu and stuff, which was cool. But yeah, they Dave hooked it up like big time. I was just growing as um not as an athlete, but like, you know, growing as someone that was able to just go harder for longer.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me this like switch, I guess. And then that selection process was pretty not it was very challenging, very physically demanding. But the hardest part for me on that selection process was like I had gastro. Then I had sprained my hamstring, which had been a problem in the past. Like
Wow.
I'd been removed from courses because I had torn my hamstring, and that same hamstring was playing up. Then I sprained three toes in my left foot and two in my right foot, or the other way around, something like
Yeah.
that. So my feet were swollen like on
Wow.
day two. I couldn't run properly. I had gastro, you know, like, but for me it was my last ditch effort. So I was
Yeah.
just like, if I don't get selected, I'm leaving. But in order for me not to get selected, like while I'm on selection, I will put my best foot forward
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do whatever it takes. And then again, you know, the universe doing its thing, actually testing me, like, will you do whatever it takes?
Yeah.
And then yeah, like so yeah, after day two, like I was in the hurt locker. Like I couldn't walk properly, my feet were swollen. Um, but yeah, it was just the mindset that got me through it. And it wasn't until I had become a PDI and done everything where I really gained an appreciation of what the mind can do. And I
Yep.
was just like, this is cool. I love this job, being a physical trainer, but I think I'm more interested in like the psyche behind everything. Like
Yep.
just because, you know, fitness is one thing. You know, you can be average at fitness, but you can destroy an athlete if your mindset is just rock solid.
Mm.
So yeah, I did like 4 years as a PDI and then went in to pursue this. So
Yeah.
yeah, like they're like never just one definitive moment. It was just moments in
Yep.
my life. Yeah. One of them was like walking through snow on that course.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had passed selection, and I was actually doing the PDI course, we did like a survival phase, and I fucked up. You know, I didn't have my wet weathers on, pretty much. You know, and I was just like, oh, it's all good. We're just going up into the mountains. Like snow won't be too bad. You know,
Yeah.
like, and it started off like ankle deep, knee deep, and then some
Wow.
parts to waist deep, and I was like,
Yeah.
shit. And then yeah, we hit like this blizzard, I guess. Like I've never been in a blizzard, but I guess that could be as close as it is. And
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, the wind was crazy, the snow, the cold. It was like negative 13 degrees,
Yeah.
and just the wind almost blew us off the cliff a few times, and oh, it was disgusting. But I just used my head, you know, like I was just like, nah, I'm sweet. Like I can move. So as long as I can move, then I'm okay. And then I had to like look after everyone else because I was in charge. So I was just like, yo, you all good? Make sure everyone's okay. And then I'll tell some jokes every now and then. Like, you know, just to take my mind off it. So I was like, fuck, if this sucks for me, surely it sucks for them. And then everyone was in the hurt locker, but it wasn't until we got to like the hut. They're like, "Where the fuck are your wet weathers?" I was like, "Oh, I just wanted to test my mental resilience, fully fitting, bro, like trying to take my boots off." And they're like, "You're fucked." I was like, "Bro, fucked up big time."
Yeah.
So that there was like the moment for me where I discovered how a strong mindset can help you.
Yeah, because you say even then they wanted to help you, right? They wanted to help you take your shoes and socks off, but you didn't even let them help as well.
Yeah, it was something I needed to get through, like myself. I needed to do. I couldn't feel my fingers, and I was like, I need to do this, and I need to concentrate. Yeah, so it's just I don't know what it was and why I did it, but it definitely helped me understand me, I guess. Yeah, that course revealed me to myself because I thought I was someone else, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful experience. An amazing story. It's clear you've lived a full life, and you've obviously learned a lot. You talked about finding out what the mind can actually do. Is that what led you to NLP?
Yeah. So after I'd done all my my courses, so that was like the first course as a PDI, and then you do like an advanced course. So once I finished that advanced course, you do more of the theory side and learn how to write like research papers and reference things, I guess. Once I had finished that course, I was just like, I've got all these new like admin skills, so I think I want to become a psychologist. Maybe a sports psych or like something along those lines, or maybe a mental performance coach. So I did like my research, and I was just like, right, 7 years full-time study, it's gonna cost like 120 grand. I don't have I was like, I don't have that money, I don't have that time. Like I'm a father of 2, married, I was just like, shit, like I've spent enough time away from my family. So then I reached back out to Dave, and I was like, Dave, what did you do to become a mental performance coach? And he put me on to the Tad James company, and so they specialize in NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnosis. And then so that was way less money, but just all up front, So I was just like, well, I can't get a student loan for this. Like this is something that has to be paid like just straight up front. So I looked at the time. That was it. I looked at the time, and then I really admired Dave for the things he had done for New Zealand sports people and business people. And I was just like, that's actually, that there is what I want to do. So why not? And that's how I got into NLP.
Cool. So it's clear Dave Neef played a critical role in your life, in the Navy, while you're in the Navy, and also after. And I know you do the same for your clients as well. How important is it for people to have a coach or have that outside perspective, I guess?
It's really important. So when you think about a boxer, like they can be an amazing boxer, but without their coach telling them, like, these are your, like, because a boxer will know exactly what tools they have and their best tools, but a coach helps you use them correctly and at the right time in the right moment. And that's what Dave's been like for me. So like I was actually talking to him today, so like he's still my mentor, like he's still there alongside me in this journey. So it's very important to have a coach.
Nice. And I guess the same question for friends as well. Like you talked about, you had your friends that called you up and said it's not nice hanging out with you when you're like that. I guess same question, how important is it to have good supportive friends, and how important is it to lean on them?
I believe it's like extremely important to have real friends, not having just yes men around you, because there was a moment in my life where I just had like heaps of friends. I could go out in town in Auckland, and I knew half of bloody Queen Street, like, but none of them added value to my life.
Yeah.
There are only a few. Yeah, and ever since moving down to Wellington, I've cut off a lot of people, like just people that don't add value to my life. There's no need for them
Mm.
because you've only got one life, right? And it's your life.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter who's in there if they're not going to add some value,
Yeah.
or if they're going to just freeload off you, like I see since moving down these ways, I've become friends with a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. I guess because they're like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've noticed from them are the amount of people that just hang around them and freeload because they have a lot of money. They've got a lot of money that they've worked hard for, and because they've come from like just poor upbringings, they want to share. Because they've never had that money, so they just want to share. And I'm just sitting on the sidelines, just observing, watching everyone just steal. Well, not steal, but like freeload off them, And then when times are tough, or when times have been tough, all of those people have disappeared. But like it was only the true that were there, like the real friends.
Yeah.
And that's something I got to witness with my own eyes. So I remember seeing it in like documentaries and stuff about like Jimi Hendrix, like how he was a real giving person. But when things got bad, everyone just scattered. But being able to witness it with my own eyes and seeing a person that was like very successful, and then when it got a bit pear-shaped, everyone left them.
Yeah.
But I was still there. It was real weird being able to experience it, and it's been amazing.
Mm. That's easier said than done though.
Yeah,
How do you define like good value in a friend, or what does that mean?
yeah, true. That's a great question. Just if they help you, like if there's like, if you're on a mission, you've got your vision where you want to be heading in life, and if they're there, I guess, inspiring you, helping you along the way,
Yep.
giving you advice, giving you resources,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you know they're adding value. If they're taking all of that stuff, that's a clear sign that they're not.
Yeah.
So if they're just constantly bugging you for things, and just always asking for money,
Yep.
and never actually helping you, just cut them, man. Be ruthless, just
Yeah,
no, you don't need that.
for sure. Yeah. So many people struggle with that though way, and
Yeah,
I find it really confusing at times as well. It's like you said, either you've got people in your life who either add value or they don't. And if you yourself are on a mission, um, you've got things to do, you've got places to get to. You can only really deal with people who are going to support you, otherwise they're pulling you back.
yeah, absolutely. And it's even harder if you sort of like came up with them,
Mm-hmm.
or like grew up with them, grew up around them. You've always been mates,
Yeah,
but they're just choosing to
yep,
stay in that spot.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a harder one.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just that one is tougher. But obviously they're happy with their life, and you're not happy with your life. So
yeah,
you're trying to grow.
yeah,
And it's weird because strangers will support you more than some of your closest friends because of that reason. You fellas both came up together, but they're still in that same situation, and you've
mm,
chosen to go forward. So instead of throwing you some positive energy, they like to talk shit behind your back, and
yeah,
like, just it's not good. So if they're doing that, then why keep them around?
yeah. In saying that, is tall poppy syndrome a real thing?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's a thing. I've experienced it. Like, just I've seen it, I've heard it. Like, I believe it's massive. Like,
Yeah,
it's huge here in New Zealand, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why we can't just be grateful for our athletes or anyone representing our country or anything like that. I don't understand why they don't just clap for them. Like, that's all it is, instead of like, oh, let's show off. Like, all they need to do is just clap and well done. Well done. Like, that's it. Like, I bet you if Emirates Team New Zealand lost, the whole country would have been like, oh, like this and that, like
wasted taxpayers' money.
It happens all the like. Yeah, that's the first one that gets put out there. Like the All Blacks when they didn't make it to when they didn't win the Rugby World Cup, like straight away, oh, the All Blacks are useless. And come on, man. Just well done, boys. Like, unlucky next time. Next time we'll just get it next time.
It blows my mind. What does success mean to you, or what does it look like for you?
Well, success for me is like, I want this bit of land for just in Upper Hutt. I want 100 acres of land, with like 5 huts on it, so I can run retreats there, and just live free and have a integrated work family life instead of a work-life balance. Just it's all integrated. That there's my success. So running those retreats, helping change lives, just being free, teaching my kids to live off the land, teaching them some survival skills, and just having fun, get some dirt bikes. I don't know, build a skid pad so I can do some skids. I don't know, like, just like, for me, that's what my success looks like, and that's what I'm working towards, and I'm doing everything in my power to get to that.
Nice.
Because it's more than financial freedom, like, that's everyone's sort of stock standy answer, but for me, it's everything. It's that land, it's that upbringing, that environment, just I genuinely love helping people, like, I genuinely love it. So I want to create a bit of earth, like a bit of New Zealand, where people can just come along for 5 days. We'll stay in the bush for 5 days, go hiking from one hut to the next, and then we'll just break down boundaries, barriers, insecurities, and rebuild.
Wow.
Rebuild, and then send them off into the world to be better individuals. Make the world a better place.
That's beautiful. What is the flip side of that?
Thank you.
The flip side of that, what does failure mean to you?
Failure means opportunity, That's how I see failure.
Nice.
Yeah, I've failed so many times in the last year, and it's just been opportunity. That's how I see it now. Once upon a time, I was afraid. I was afraid to fail, but now I sort of encourage it, because it's a clear indication that I'm not doing something right. So if I fail, it's an opportunity to do better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Before I finish up and ask my last question, I'd like to do a little segment called 5 for 5.
All right.
That means there's a list of 5 questions, and the number of the question is the number of answers that I need you to give me. So question 1, I need 1 answer. Question number 2, I need 2 answers, and so on and so forth. So question number 1, what is your most favorite quote?
Hard work pays off.
Hard work pays off.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't even know, but that's the first one that popped into my head.
Yeah. Nice.
It's a good quote.
Question number 2, 2 goals for 2021.
2 goals for 2021. I'm in the I've just like cracked my list of goals. So like I'm on to my next ones, and I haven't really fully thought them out. So I guess one goal is a monetary one, making $383 a day. That's one goal. $383 a day. And goal number 2 is similar but separate, as to establish four streams of income.
Four streams of income.
Yeah, so like those are two separate goals, but I guess it's one that could, because those four streams could make up that 383.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
No, that seems fair.
Is that one? Is
No,
that
that's
one goal
two.
or is that two?
No, that's two. Two is good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is
I'm just trying to do a quick calculation. What is 383? That's a very specific number.
Yeah, well, that's like $100,000 a year,
Right.
plus taxes and GST.
Nice.
Yeah, it's achievable, like when you break it down into smaller things.
Yeah.
Instead of, because when my first year I was like, I'm gonna make $100,000. It was just like that big picture, big number.
It looks scary.
And then I didn't. No, I didn't. I made like 10. I was like, shit. So yeah, we're breaking them down.
Yeah. Nice. Question number 3. 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah, my wife, my children, and my sickening work ethic.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a juxtaposition there where you say you're grateful for a sickening work ethic. That's cool. I've never heard anyone say that before. Question number 4. 4 things or 4 characteristics of a successful person.
Discipline. Relatable. Well, this is for me anyway. I think approachable, and just like knows when to have fun and knows when to be serious.
Nice, cool. And question number 5. I can't talk to Mr. 50 and not ask him about his 5 pillars. So please talk me through your 5 pillars.
Yeah, so the first one's know your outcome. So when you're going through life, when you've got projects on, like if it's a project, like what is the outcome? Like what do you want this project to look like? What's the outcome? So when you talk about goals versus outcomes, goals are like things that can often fall to the wayside. People talk about losing 10 kilos in 5 weeks, 10 weeks. They don't make it. They're like, oh well, I tried. Where an outcome is like, I'm going to lose 10 kilos, regardless of time. So I'm going to do it. Yep, 5 weeks. I didn't manage to lose it, but let's try another 5 weeks. So know your outcome. Once you have that outcome, perception's projection. This is pillar number 2. So if you can see it, you can achieve it. Whatever you put out there comes back tenfold, whether it's energy, whether it's hard work, whatever you put out, it has some sort of effect. So that's your energy, your everything really, and if you can really see it in a sensory specific picture, like where you can see it, you can hear it, you can smell it, feel it, and even taste it, like that there makes it more real. So then if you can act as if you already are that thing or have it, then you're a step closer. So that's where those two merge. Pillar number 3 is time and energy. So once you have these 2 pillars, what are you willing to do with your time and energy to achieve that outcome? Like, are you doing everything with your time and energy to achieve them, or are you wasting like 6 hours a day? You look up the average time that someone spends on their phone, and it's silly, like they're even just half an hour, like half an hour on your phone you can spend there just scrolling aimlessly. That's half an hour you could have spent reading, or half an hour you could have spent doing plans for another project. So what are you doing with your time and energy? Those 2 that's a currency you can't get a refund on, like you can't get your time or your energy back. So be smart how you use them, and if you're trying to better yourself and better your family, then make sure that you're spending that time and energy accordingly. number 4 is consistently pursuing excellence. So that's doing the minor details well, like doing them to the best of your ability, because that's all excellence is, is like doing the best that you can with what you have at that time. And as long as you're doing that every day, that'll get better. You could do some work on your house one day and you're like so stoked with it, like, yes, I did that, I'm chuffed, that's like the best I could do. Come back a week later and you're like, oh shit, like I could probably do this a little bit better. Like you're always going to better yourself. So you're just doing the best that you can with what you have at that time. And then pillar number 5 is my favorite one, which is keeping it 100. And that's putting 100% effort into things. So this is the effort, like when you're doing something, whether it's cleaning or writing an essay or just anything, training, you have to ask yourself, am I giving it 100% effort? Am I putting in 100% effort? And you should get an answer straight away, like, oh, this is probably like 60 or 80 or whatever, like, so if you are putting in that 60% effort, then don't be disheartened if you don't get that 100% result. If you get a 60% result, that's because that's what you put in, so keeping it 100 means, giving it that, like keeping it 100 with your family, holding yourself accountable, keeping it 100. It's just a play on words, just from something that's already out there. Accountability, like find a way to make it your fault. When you make everything your fault, you find a solution for it. But if you want to keep blaming others, then you'll just go around in circles blaming everyone, and you'll still have that same problem until someone takes ownership for what happened. And like that's keeping it 100 with yourself and with your team. Like from my experience in the Navy, when I was a leader, I took ownership for everything. So if one of my subordinates stuffed up, and they're just about to get a grilling from one of the officers or whatever, I'd step in straight away and I was like, sorry, that's my fault. Like I clearly didn't tell them exactly what I wanted, like that's on me. And the officer respected me for that, but the subordinate respected me a shitload because I just saved them from getting like a grilling, so they worked harder for me, so that's something I learned in the military, was just find a way to make it your fault, and everyone respects you more from that, and just taking ownership, I guess. Yeah, because no one, it's a weird one, eh? Like no one really wants to take the blame for anything nowadays. Yeah, so that's me, man. Yeah, I did that. Like that was me. Sorry. But yeah, those there are the 5 pillars, my bro.
Nice. That's awesome. I really love those 5 pillars, and I just wanted to hold off right to the end there to get a full breakdown, because I knew there was a lot of gold in that.
Yeah.
I could go on forever with you. There's so many things just in those 5 pillars I want to ask you about, but I want to be respectful of your time. So before I ask my last question, tell people where they can find you and about your website and your
so my website is 50coaching.com. I'm on the fence if I want to rebrand this year or not. So I'm still on the fence, but so that's my website where you can check out, I guess, what I do, and it's very informative. And there's some testimonials there. So if you want to see, like, don't listen to me, like just read what they wrote about me. But also Instagram has been, I guess, my biggest one. I've got 2 accounts. My main one now is curtisweeks.me. That's where I put up those 20 to 40-second videos every day of just something, like something that might help someone somewhere in the world. Or 50 coaching. I haven't been on that one for ages. So if you're going to message me on Instagram, message curtisweeks.me. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And then there should be some links to my email on my website and everything. But yeah, Instagram's the best place to find me.
Sweet.
Stop me.
Cool. And I'll link that below anyway.
Oh, sure, bro. Thank you.
Cool. And my last question is, who is Curtis Weeks in essence?
In essence, I don't know. I'm just a happy-go-lucky Kiwi. Like, you know, I like having a laugh. I like helping others, and I think it was Gandhi that said, you know, if you want to change the world, be the change you want to see in the world. That's me, bro. Like, I'm just trying to be that guy. Like, I'm trying to be the change that I want to see in the world. So if I see someone struggling, I'll help them. If I see people doing things I don't like, you know, I'd let them know. And yeah, especially with bullies, you know, if I see someone bullying someone, I know from experience how that feels. So nowadays I interject, you know. But yeah, I'm all about the positive vibes, eh? Yeah, just spreading love, laughter, some kindness, you know, bit of cheekiness and banter as well. I'm all for that.
Yeah, well, it's clear that you're all about the positive vibes. I definitely get that off you. So yeah, I just want to thank you for your time and joining me. And yeah, I just want to thank you for your content. Thank you for everything that you do. And it's been, you've been a real inspiration. And like I said, I'm getting through your book, so I'm sure there's a lot more to learn there.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, Paresh.
Thank you so much.
Bro, straight up, thank you for having me on here, man. I enjoyed this. Thank you for your time and energy as well, bro. Straight up.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers, man. You have a good night.
You too.
Sweet, bro. Laters.